Hey everybody, good afternoon. This is attorney Sean Brennan with the Accident Recovery Team, and we are going live with the Accident Recovery Team podcast. Well, I guess we're live. I guess people who are listening to it may not be listening to it live, right?
I'm alive.
You're alive. We're here though. We're here. We're live. We're putting forth the effort. And, you know, these things are always best when we have a guest in the room. And we do have a guest today. We've got Bill Williams. Bill is the president and CEO of HumanKind Ministries. Hey, Bill.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Good,
Good
man.
to see you again, Bill.
It is very good to see you. I'm also here with my partner, Todd King.
Hello, all.
Todd has been on these podcasts before, and those of you who listen regularly know Todd. You know, it's mid-October. Season's changing.
It's a big kickoff. Here we go.
It's getting colder. Operation Holiday, right around the corner.
This is the time of year where things get exciting. Number one, the need starts to increase. And number two, our involvement, we get excited here at the office because we've always been involved for several years now with Operation Holiday through HumanKind Ministries. And so we get excited because, just to give everybody a little bit of history, it was easy for us at one point in our practice to say, we really want to find a way to give back to the community. And that was easy to do initially by writing a check. I mean, I'll be honest and just say it. It was easy to just write a check.
We did though. We wrote a check.
Yay for us. We wrote a check. We were good people.
Yeah.
And then we started to go down and volunteer, put our feet on the ground. We were at Operation Holiday. We took our wives, our children, and we were involved in that part of it. And our experience from that has just grown into wanting to be more and more involved because...
Well, and it doesn't hurt that, right after we get here in the morning, Bill's knocking on the front door, reminding us that, hey, it's time. It's time for you guys to do something, right?
Well, there's logistically so much that goes into being ready for Operation Holiday in December.
Yeah.
October is the time. The need's going to be greater than ever, as we know, in light of the COVID situation and the ripple effect it's had on our folks in Wichita. We'll let Bill talk more about that. There's going to be a little different format this year. But, in the past, there's been like 16,000 people at a time coming through Operation Holiday to pick up, all the goods that you can get, the food, the coats, the blankets. Before we talk about how it's going to be so different this year, one thing is this. For those of you that are listening and want to get involved, there's really three ways to do this, okay? One is you can be a volunteer if you wanted to, and you can contact HumanKind Ministry or go to operationholiday.org for that information. Another is, of course, we're going to be making collections. There's going to be collection points for food. It's going to be a little different this year for blankets and coats. Obviously, because of the COVID thing, we're only looking at new blankets and coats. The other thing is monetary donations. We've done the telethons in the past and things like that too. And what is significant about a monetary donation is this. If you can make a monetary donation of, let's just say, $20, that is worth more to the organization with the power they have to use that $20 than it is to give them $20 worth of retail food that you bought at Dillon's, for example, because they can take that $20 and go to some of their other sources and other organizations and get more than $20 worth of retail food out of that. So a monetary donation, I can't emphasize enough, but food, coats, blankets, the monetary donation is fantastic. So we probably don't need to spend a lot of time on how the format had been in the past, but it's been a matter of running people through buildings and things, and there's a lot of volunteers involved. It's really a question of how we're going to do it this year.
Yeah, it's going to be different this year. And one thing that's going to be different is that Bill is going to be the guy there. This is Bill's first year. Bill was living up in God's country, up in Nebraska, minding his own business, and found out that HumanKind needed a new president, new CEO. And so he packed up and landed in Wichita not too long ago. And so this will be your first Operation Holiday, right?
Yeah, it is. And I'm excited about it and excited to be here. And, maybe to back up for just a minute and say that for those of you who've been part of the Wichita community for a long time, you all know, but Operation Holiday, powered by HumanKind, is the largest holiday giving program in the county. And we serve between 10 and 15,000 every single year. And this is the 61st year. And I would be remiss if I didn't start off by saying that we couldn't do it without the accident recovery team. And I will say that they've been generous enough to write a check, absolutely, but they have partnered with us side by side to serve the community. And that has been just a pleasure. It's been great. So we're excited, and this year is going to be a little bit different. And so I'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, one of the things that is always just logistically, this is such an impressive deal every year. Just seeing how you guys manage this many people, how you manage that much food, how you manage that many coats. I mean, it's really just an unbelievable undertaking. In this environment we're in because of COVID, though, things are going to look different. So talk to us a little bit about how Operation Holiday is going to differ this year compared to years past.
Well, this year, the event's going to be largely a drive-through event. Now, in years past, folks would come in, folks who've been part of the program, and they would shop individually through our warehouse, and they would go and pick things out. And that worked out great. And we loved to have the connection and have the opportunity to do that. But this year, in order to be safe for everyone involved, we're going to make it a drive-through event. So folks are going to pull their cars around to different stations where we will provide food for them. We'll provide warm, cold weather wear. That will be coats and mittens and things of that nature, gloves for kids and things like that. And then we'll also provide blankets, some stuff for pets, and also some gift cards for food, some food vouchers for folks as well. And so that's going to all largely be a drive-through event. We need lots of volunteers to assist us in that process and to manage that so we can make this safe for our volunteers and for the folks in the community that we serve.
Yeah. One of the things that I was talking about a minute ago is there's 3 ways to get involved, right?
Right.
Donating, and then monetary donations, and being a volunteer is another one. My question, I suppose, is in the new format, do we still need the volume of the number of volunteers has been astonishing.
You mean like the number of bodies?
Yes, the number of feet on the ground volunteers that will come in and help. I've really been impressed with different organizations within our community that have volunteered and come in and helped. Because, we're there on the ground watching all this too and participating in this. Are we going to need as many volunteers this year in this format as we have in the past?
And I'll tell you, in answering that question, factor in that Todd will be there and he does the work of 4 people.
That's right.
So
don't forget
take that into account. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, I will tell you that the need is greater than ever for volunteers, and there's a couple of reasons why. Even though the format may streamline things for some of our volunteers, where in some areas we may need a little bit less, the ability to find volunteers and have volunteers serve in this capacity this year is going to be more difficult than we've had in the past, because for the last several months, we haven't been able to utilize volunteers because a lot of things have been shut down. And so as we open back up, we're finding it increasingly difficult because of the reluctance of some folks to come out and put themselves in a situation where there may be other people in. And then we also have found that some of the groups that have volunteered in the past, as a group, as an organization, they are stepping back and taking a season off. So we are doubling our efforts to find the volunteers in order to meet the needs that we're going to see.
So for those listening that now have an interest, we're disseminating that information. How do they get a hold of you guys if they want to be a volunteer?
I'm glad that you asked, because the best way that they can do that is to go to operationholiday.org. And then there's a button on there they can click and they can volunteer right from there, and they can get signed up because we desperately need their help.
Okay.
Good to know. So, one thing that COVID sort of changed everything, right? I mean, it changed how you're doing this.
Right.
My impression has been, though, that it also sort of multiplied the need. right? I mean,
Right.
are you anticipating that you are going to have more people in need of your services this year than maybe you have in the past, just because of layoffs and financial pressures and things like that?
We definitely think the need is going to be greater this year than years past. And just to accent that, to highlight that, today is the very first day for folks to sign up and for Operation Holiday, for people to say, hey, I'm in need, and to sign up through operationholiday.org. And just in the last couple of hours, we've had 50 people sign up. And at that rate,
that's awesome.
yeah,
That's great.
and this is day one.
For those in need. You're
Right.
talking not
These are-
volunteers now. You're talking
these are-
those that are saying, hey, I'm going to need some help.
Absolutely. So if that holds true on day one, and usually we see a significant increase as the days progress, especially the last week or two, it is so much greater than now. If we have 100, 150 just on day one, and we have 6 weeks, we have 40 days for folks to sign up, the numbers already seem to bear that out just in the first few hours that we've done.
Yeah, but absolutely. I mean, you want people to sign up.
Oh,
I mean,
no, definitely.
people have the need. I mean, you absolutely want people to sign. So the fact that people are signing is a good thing.
It is.
And you already mentioned it, but just to clarify again, in case it slipped through, again, that would be at the same website, right? operationholiday.org.
At the same website, operationholiday.org, yes.
So tell us a little bit, Bill, about, maybe you can't volunteer. What are some other ways that if you're a Wichitan, or I don't know, what do you call someone who lives in Sedgwick County?
A Sedgwick Countyan?
If you're a Sedgwick Countyan, what's the best way to try and get involved if you,
That's not right.
other than volunteering?
Well, one of the things that I think is unique about this time that we're going through right now is that people all throughout our county, everywhere in our country, can understand how we're more vulnerable than we ever thought we were. And we're experiencing some differences in our own lifestyles. Everyone is. And so if people can volunteer, great. If they can't, can they give? Can you make a financial contribution? Can you assist us in the work that we do? Because as you said, Todd, there is no doubt that the need's going to be greater, and exactly what areas that those gaps are going to be in, we're not sure. And so those monetary donations allow us to get more grocery gift cards, or to buy more coats, or to buy blankets. So that's another area.
As we get closer to
Right.
the day of,
Right.
we know where we're short. That's where the money can help us fill that gap.
Absolutely. But another thing I think people can do as we get close to the holidays, and we're start thinking about our own families and starting to appreciate all that we have in the midst of all that we're struggling with, then people can join in with their families and go to the store. And as they're buying toys or gifts or things for their own 7-year-old, their 10-year-old, they can buy a coat for someone else. And then, or they can buy a blanket that can be used to be given to someone in need right here in our community. And so folks can participate with their families, with their work groups, with their colleagues. Organizations can join in together to do those things to help make a difference in the community. And so I think that's another way that people can be involved.
And I will just say, I think it's invaluable for programs like this. It's valuable for HumanKind, for people to talk about it, right? I mean, talk to your neighbors about it, talk to your friends about it, talk to your social network about it. Let people know that you're involved. Let people know how they can get involved. Let people know what they can do to help, right?
Absolutely. Because the need, like we said, it's greater than ever. And we know how it's affected, COVID has affected all of us. Imagine how it's affected those people who are most vulnerable in our community.
Yeah.
A little bit of help from a lot of people is a lot of help, right? If we could just get a whole bunch of people to help just a little bit, because we have big contributors every year. We have organizations and businesses that help, but the difference in making the goal, I have seen in the past 5 or 6 years we've been at this, the difference in making the goal and making the difference is the number of people across the community that we touch that all help a little bit, because the cumulative effect of that, the aggregate, is enough. It grows, and you can just watch it happening. It's amazing. That makes the difference. One of the things I'm going to miss in this format this year, in the past, when we've been there during Operation Holiday and helping, whatever we're doing at the time that day, somebody always stops and gives you a hug and says thank you. that is invaluable to see that happen. You're changing someone's life. I'm going to miss that in the drive-through format. We may not get to experience that quite as well, but every little bit helps. Every little bit helps is what I'm trying to say. If we get this out, like he says, your church circle, your social circle, work, if we get this out, enough people can help a little bit to make that difference.
Yeah, and I'll say this. Bill said it earlier. I'll say it again. This is sort of the primary seminal event in Sedgwick County every year in terms of giving. I mean, it's a big deal for Sedgwick County. So I would love to have everybody who's listening to this podcast get out there, make an effort, contact HumanKind Ministries, and do everything you can to participate and make this year a success. Bill, before we wrap up, anything else? Any final words of wisdom from you? You are the president and CEO after all.
Well, I just would say that when this is an opportunity where compassion and generosity can be coupled together and make a difference for those people who really are struggling. And if we can do it, we should do it. And then we all can experience the joy of giving. I have heard it said that it's impossible to make a difference in the life of a person in need from a distance. But right now, we're all called to social distance. So it's going to be that much more difficult to make that impact. And so it's going to require all of us to come together. So I appreciate you having me on here and for us getting together and talking about Operation Holiday. And I appreciate you spreading the word so folks can be involved.
On that point, before we leave, you can go to your website, operationholiday.org. You can go to our website, either one, and there's information there on different places and different events that we're going to have in the coming months. Stuff the Truck events, Dylan's United Way Day, all those kind of things we've done in the past. There'll be something like that going on where people can drive by and make those donations and still maintain social distancing. So there are the points where the boxes will be around town where you can make a deposit of your donation there. But we're going to have these other events where you can drive by and make your donations. So go to either of those websites for additional information.
Guys, it really is a great event. HumanKind Ministries in Wichita, Kansas. OperationHoliday.org for all of the information, or you can always just call HumanKind. Everybody, let's make it a great year. Let's make it a great Operation Holiday. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great week.
Goodbye.
The lawyers of the Accident Recovery Team are licensed in Kansas and Kansas only. If you are unfortunate enough to live somewhere other than the great state of Kansas and have questions about an auto accident or an injury accident of any kind, you can still call the Accident Recovery Team and we can partner with an attorney in your state to help you get the representation you need. The Accident Recovery Team can be found at 267team.com or by calling 1-866-267-TEAM.